And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about The Exorcist Believer.
Body in the blood? Body in the blood? Catherine. Body in the blood. The body in the blood. The body in the blood. Catherine. The body in the blood. The body in the blood.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Mommy?
No, but there are people out there who have.
So, The Exorcist Believer is a continuation, in a sense, to the original Exorcist, a film that I feel to this day still holds a good hold on movie cinema in the horror setting. It is still, in my opinion, one of the my opinion, one of my top 5 films in the horror genre. It still gives me the creeps to this day. I enjoy it every once in a while, and this movie in itself, Exorcist Believer, I was intrigued. It is the month of October, and there has been a plethora of horror movies that I have sadly missed out on, and I'm working my way around if I have a little bit more time to get to them. There are a few more films out that are going to be coming out, actually, that I like. I'm definitely going to make my way to see them, and I do apologize for not posting as much, but the world goes on even if I can't post. But definitely I wanted to talk about The Exorcist. Like I said, it's horror month, and I generally did want to see this film. So this film was directed by David Gordon Green. He's more recently known for the recent Halloween franchise, Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills. So he's been in there. Sad thing is, I actually haven't seen those films. I enjoy the series, the character, but I don't know. I just haven't jumped back in. So I haven't seen some of his work as of recent. So I'm like, okay. And then, just going into the film a little bit. The film in itself has our main cast of Leslie Odom Jr. as Victor. Is that right? Victor? Yeah, just say Victor. Lydia? Is it Lydia? I think that's the young girl's name. Lydia. And those are kind of our main cast. I'm gonna not lie. Those are like our main taste. The father and daughter. That's our main people that we're kind of following as two girls get lost in the woods after performing some weird ritual shit. They accidentally summon or something. They don't really explain it, but but something has happened. They get possessed. I'll do the Exorcist or exorcism, whatever you want to say. And the film's not really that long. It's under 2 hours, which for a horror movie, that's not too bad. But the plot of the film, not only like the two families trying to rescue their daughters from this possession, is somewhat underdeveloped. I'm gonna say that it's underdeveloped, and like I mentioned earlier, the main cast or the main family that we're following of Victor and Angela, those are like the main two that we focus on, which is that's fine. But when you're talking about like two girls, the second family and the second girl is very, very underutilized. I would consider them like a subcast at this point, but even then, you want at least the subcast to do something or another, because some of the others, like the other subcasts to the film, like there's a few other characters that are introduced later on that are a little bit more integral, and then some who are like really just thrown in there for like okay. And the plot just it started off decently strong. It was building up a momentum. I was getting to enjoy the characters. I was getting invested in them, and then it just kind of flew off the rails. And that's not bad in a horror film, because you're trying to like sidetrack the audience in a bit, but not too much where like you can't get the audience back a little bit. That's where I've felt like I was like, what's happening? Why should I really care at this point? And that's what I felt about the subcast. The main character, of the father and daughter of Victor and Angela. That's what I actually was really intrigued, but it just kind of felt underwhelming a lot when the second family were kind of there, and it just why should I care about you? Their character development was very, very, very dwelled on, and it was like, okay. Now when it comes to horror film, the next thing is is it eerie? Is it jump scary? Does it have a sense of dread? What are we jumping into? So the film in itself, it has a decent sense of horror, but I don't know, maybe because I was thinking and having this nostalgia of the original Exorcist. It's been a bit since I've seen it, but I still have this inkling that I wanted to see, or but yeah, it just didn't really hit. I got a few spooks in, I'm not gonna lie, but nothing to the point where I'm like, was that worth it, really? And then you mix that in with a really lackluster plot ending, and there is I think there is a point to the story they're trying to tell a little bit, but and some of the nods to the original Exorcist, things like that was kind of cool, but you can't really do so much with that level of nostalgia. It's very little in that form, but I really liked. It just didn't really hit, and that's what's disappointing about this film. I was hoping just to that feeling when you go home after, or when you're watching a horror movie, and you're at home, you just and you're watching it in the evening and you just can't go to bed. Just that eeriness. That's the kind of feeling I as much as I don't like it, I do enjoy it when after watching a movie, because it has hit a nerve. And definitely this movie did not hit a nerve in the sense of eeriness or anything. I'm I watched it, okay, why was it like that? When the thing is, I do these reviews to kind of just put my thoughts on the film out, and I'm a very mediocre critic. I'll be honest on that. These are just my rambling thoughts, but I have some coherent thoughts for whatever you may or may not like. But it's one of those things when after I leave a film, I take a moment and think about it, and if I start to truly actually start nitpicking and criticizing it as I'm leaving without giving it way more fan service, I would say, oh my god, that was so good, it just hits a nerve in me where I'm why did they do it? It makes me go more into critic mode than I would like to, because I genuinely was hoping it was going to be a little bit more spooky, the story would be a little bit more interesting, and it just never really hit all the boxes. I could see they were driving the nails here and there, but it's it felt like all the nails ended up crooked towards the end, and I'm okay, thank you for the box, and just kind of ignore all the bent nails, and that's a little bit disappointing. because there was a lot of potential. Definitely there was a lot of potential. I think it's around just the other cast, the other family. There was nothing to develop there. There was very little care and interaction with them, and if that's how it was, I just like, okay, I didn't really care. There was nothing there. Definitely I was more intrigued when it came to the father-daughter, Victor and Angela. Like, they were like, okay, there's something there. I like that the story was building up this a little, continuing the lore, increasing upon that, adding more to it, which is interesting, but it just was not on the mark. So what do I give this film? So for Exorcist Believer, I would this one is definitely, oh my god, this is definitely this is hard. Maybe just, this is a wait for streaming. Just wait for it to stream. That's the disappointing thing. If you want to go out and see a horror movie in theaters, this is not the one. If it's on streaming, it's a decent watch on streaming. But yeah, just wait for it for streaming. Yeah, that's my thoughts. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it if you guys have gone seen it. But if you have not, let me know what other horror movies you are planning out to go see in cinema or at home. I know that at the time of the recording of this, on the Friday the 13th, the release actually at the same time, Goosebumps has just released on Disney Plus, I believe, and I'll be watching that. My review for that will be coming out before the end of October. Trust me, I'll do my best, okay? So, yeah. So everyone, thanks again for listening or watching. Until next time, see ya.